What's up, Bose? Leon here. I'm doing a very special review today with a new guest, the Don. We are reviewing Sisu 2, also known as Sisu Road to Revenge. Brand new action movie that I really liked the first one of. I was a big fan of the Sisu 1. Nice little short, fun action movie I've watched a couple times now. And I know my guest is also a fan of Sisu One, right?
Oh yeah, I'm big time. Yep,
Yep. Kind
great,
of,
great movie.
kind of very similar, but like obviously in a different era to kind of just something like the John Wick, where it's pretty much just like a pure action movie.
Oh
Um,
yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt. And I'm sure we're going to get into Sisu two, but there's a lot of themes that come up
yep.
that give you kind of this John Wick kind of flavor.
Yeah. No, they definitely mix a lot of that sort of stuff in there with his family and that sort of stuff, which they dive more into in this one because that was kind of a mystery in the first one. Um, but yeah, so basically, this is about. I always want to call him Sisu, but I guess that's not his name. It's Aatami Korpi is his name actually. Which I can't remember if we discover that in this movie. Do you remember them even saying his name in the first one?
No, I don't remember it in the first one. I
Yeah,
think that I think it was just kind of like the mystery guy. So
exactly.
you
Um,
know,
but I don't know. Maybe they did reveal it because I remember they kind of found out that he was this badass and everything. The Nazis in the first one and everything, and they were like, "This guy's like one man army through like people." So
yeah,
I just don't really remember that. But yeah, it kind of goes more into with this one his past, and it's basically about uh, Aatami Korpi, who just for you know to make it easy, I'm just gonna call him Sisu. Where Sisu basically returns to like basically his old family house, where him and his family used to live. I guess he had a wife and two kids, I believe. A boy and I think a
uh,
girl.
yeah, yeah. Two kids. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, he goes back there. So this one kind of reveals more about his past and stuff as well. Um, which through the trailers and obviously because of these movies being the way that they are, um, they were obviously have passed away. His family, and this movie kind of reveals um, how that happened, and it kind of
Yeah, it's
connects.
kind of a gruesome revealing too, So
Yeah, I mean they don't
yeah.
they didn't show it right, but they just kind of talk about it multiple times, and it's pretty.
No, they had a flashback, I think, at one point with the son,
Oh,
but not
okay.
not not of the killing, but just of him being shown.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they didn't show it. They just kind of you had that scene where the guy that ended up killing the whole family talks about how he really remembered the son and
Yep.
and how he did it and then he ends up killing them with the shovel. I don't know if you remember that. He says he
Yeah.
chopped them into little pieces with the
Yep.
shovel. And then there's that scene at the end of the movie. I don't know if you caught it or not, but he tries to kill him and he finds a shovel,
Mm-hmm.
in
No,
that,
I'm gonna
that
do the
final
same
scene.
thing again, or
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to.
and so he was trying to like relive it and a bit, but he said that was he's done, like hundreds and hundreds of killings, and he
Of
never
kids
remembers
and
anybody's name,
yeah.
but he remembers the kid, the boy's name.
Yep.
He
Because
goes
he
into
was
great.
because he was brave actually, right?
Yeah, yeah. The son was really brave.
Yeah.
He tried to fight back and tried to defend the mother, if I remember right.
Yeah, yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so yeah, it gets a lot more into that sort of stuff, and that character that, describes what the Don was just talking about was Stephen Lang's character, who is a lot of people would know him recently from the Avatar films, the James Cameron ones, because he plays one of the villains in that, the general dude. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he plays a Russian in this that is
Mm-hmm.
actually in prison, um, and they basically take him out because they hear that Sisu's still alive, and they're basically like, "You need to finish your fucking job, dude. Like, we're gonna let you out
Yeah.
just so you can finish this shit." Like, um, so,
But he was all over that too, though.
oh yeah,
When
I mean, who wouldn't
you
be?
know,
He had a fucking ball and
yeah.
chain attached to him, like, he was in a Russian prison. Like, fuck that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But he seemed. But I think that even if he didn't have the ball and chain, the way that it was a good
Kind
acting
of like a
scene, that
prideful thing, like where
yeah,
you kind of
yeah, you
failed.
you 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 really kind of bought it where
Mm,
he would have done it even without the ball and chain being on him. So
exactly. Or even
um
that his pride would maybe make it so that like he wouldn't even have left the jail unless it was to finish a job like this because like he feels like he failed or something maybe, and that he kind of deserves what he kind of got as being imprisoned and everything.
right,
But this is
yeah,
kind of his opportunity
right,
for redemption for the villain character. Um,
yeah, definitely.
so yeah, I guess I want to so basically Jorma Tomila, who plays Sisu, and Stephen Lang's character are pretty much the highlights here, um, for actors and stuff. I don't think there's really any other recognizable faces in here, but
No, and no, not at all.
yeah, but this very much follows like the first one, but basically what most things do with sequels, where they're like, let's do the first one, but like let's make it bigger and like let's make it bolder and all that. And honestly, from the trailers, I was super hyped for this because I loved the first one. And I was all for them going bigger and bolder and all that. And then when I heard it was still like an hour, like 90-minute movie, just like the first one, that gave me hope too. Where I was like, that's a good runtime and everything. Like it seems like they're just gonna follow in the footsteps of the first one.
It went
And
by quick too. It
no, and
went
it
by
did.
quick
The
too.
pacing is actually
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good for it, and that definitely helps with that runtime. But I would say the mileage is going to vary here for people, and I'm actually very surprised with myself with this, but you seem to agree too, where I think this one going a bigger and bolder and stuff like that, to me it's not bad, but it almost seems to kind of take away some of the charm of the first one maybe,
Yeah, I think they tried to add too many things
that are kind
in,
of like
and
ridiculous or Fast and Furious like, or
yeah, yeah. I was
yeah,
just going to say it kind of starting to go the route of Fast and Furious,
mhm,
where it's like not that
anything
any of
goes
the
basically.
yeah, not that any of the things are really too realistic and Fast and the
Mm.
Furious, but at least they used to do their own stunts in the first couple,
Well, now they're going
now
bringing cars to space and shit in the new ones.
yeah, now it's
So
CGI and stuff like that, and so it definitely had that Fast and Furious style to it. Probably the most memorable part in the film where you get this vibe of
mm,
Fast and Furious ridiculousness is the part where the plane um, comes down and is trying to attack Sisu, and he puts those ramps up, those logs, and the
the logs
plane
from
goes.
the house he
Yeah,
disassembled.
yeah,
He
and
cuts the cables and like two of them perfectly fall to make like a runway
yeah,
kind of ramp thing. And
yeah. That's the part, but it's
yeah,
just kind of like it kind of just like okay, that's just too much. I mean, when you go to see one of these movies, you suspend all belief, anyways.
mm,
You know nothing in there is going to be realistic,
mm,
but it just seemed to be the part where it was just kind of a little too ridiculous. So
yeah,
and if they come out with a three, I hope they don't, a
go even
Sisu
more.
three. Yeah, I hope they don't go even more because then it'll end up like the Expendables. You know what I mean? Where
Mm,
it's you keep adding on to it, and so you put have too many characters involved and all
yeah.
that, and then you go to ridiculousness and the plot, but it was still a simple plot.
Yeah, and it's still an
I mean,
enjoyable movie. I just think
oh yeah,
it's like weaker than the first one for me, but I think it's
oh yeah,
because of like the expectations you go in with, or even just the sort of things that, like I said, and mileage is going to vary for people, like the sort of things that you look for in an action movie.
Well,
Um,
and it's a standalone too a bit. I mean, even though it's a sequel,
mhm.
because I don't think you really had to see the first one to be able to go in and
Yeah, you wouldn't be lost.
yeah, you wouldn't be lost at all, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Well, they did
because
kind of have that exposition thing at the beginning too, a little bit.
yeah,
That it was a
yeah,
pretty good job of not like just recapping the first one, but it kind of
hmm
recapped history that happened with the first one, and history between
correct,
the first and the second.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Like how
But
World War
like I
II
said,
had ended.
yeah, and you did get that little quick synopsis, and it
Mm.
was and brought you into it real quick. But the first one, the plot was really simple too. I mean, this one's
Yeah.
just about sheer revenge. It's like the old kung fu movies. I mean,
Mm.
this is sheer revenge here. But that's the beauty of that and the John Wick movies. Is that the plot's really simple, and you're planning and the action sequences is what ties
Yeah.
the whole story together. And Sisu does an all right job with this, except for those three parts that are in it that I really thought that were just too ridiculous. But it wasn't too distracting.
Yeah. And yet,
You
it's not
know.
like we hated it either, I think, from what both of us talked
Oh,
about. It was just like you could very clearly tell it's a CG scene, which,
oh yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah.
I think these movies do a pretty good job of not making that obvious with a lot of the action scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
No.
yeah,
No. You.
it just kind of makes you think of like maybe this just wasn't necessary. Like I really like the part in the first one, and even though this is a little bit ridiculous too, I just think it's more suspended in reality, where it's like he's goes to that like pond or whatever, and he's like underwater, and he's like killing the dudes, and then like
Oh yeah.
to stay underwater, he's like slitting their throats, and then he's like sucking like the bubbles out of their throat and stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
pretty ridiculous, but like it was fun. This just
Yeah.
goes more ridiculous in kind of like a um even more actiony way, which I think a lot of people are going to be fine with, and from what I've seen
Yeah.
with the reviews and stuff, people are fine with. But to me, it just bordered
Well,
a little too much on ridiculous sometimes.
Well, yeah, and like you say that the water scene where he's slitting their throats. I mean, I kind of saw it as, some of the same people that did John Wick, like the stunt coordinator
Mm,
and all that are part of both the John Wick franchise and the Sisu franchise,
mm,
and so you kind of got that feel in Sisu that they were bringing in that little John Wick kind of scene. I mean, a feel.
creative kind of
Yeah,
things with
because
it.
how many ways can you kill somebody?
Yeah,
John Wick. You know what I mean?
exactly. So I guess the
Look how
difference is
good.
almost that like they keep being creative with the kills in this one, but it seems like it's leaning more in like a CGI kind of area of like let's be creative with the kills, whereas the first one was like more practical or kind of had more like
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
pure action moments that aren't like bordering on like ridiculous
Well,
or absurd.
yeah, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of like the John Wick franchise is that
Mm,
they rely on stunts. Keanu does his own stunts and stuff like that. And there's no CGI. It kind of
yeah.
is kind of a nod back to the old '80s movies where everybody kind of did their own stunts, or they had a stunt double, and there was not a lot of wires being tied to them and
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of ridiculous flipping and stuff like that. So Sisu, I think, does an all right job of um, tying the action together like the John Wick and
Yeah.
all that. So it does play into that a little bit. But yeah, you are right. It kind of they're kind of getting away from it, but it wasn't too bad. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
There's only really three scenes in the whole movie.
Exactly.
It wasn't like the scenes were that long either. It's just when it happens, you're like, really, freaking, are you really serious?
Yeah. And the rest of
Um,
it is the rest of the action I think is pretty good.
oh yeah,
I
yeah. I thought they did a
also
great job.
think even with the other action that I did like better and was more like kind of how it was in the first one. I did even
Mhm.
think with some of that stuff though that maybe the first one did a little bit better or it was kind of just a little bit more generic here with some of the
Yeah,
scenes. Like I
yeah.
said,
And they
like there
kind of
was
got.
not as many that stood out to me besides
Well,
kind
there
of
was
the
that.
dumb ones.
Well, no, there was that. I think one that stood out to me where they had the action of kind of the first. movie, and I don't know if it was all one take when they did it or not, but
The
when he's going through the
train.
train,
Yeah, I
when he
did
does
like
the
that part a
train,
lot. That's my
it it,
favorite from
it
this
kind
new
of
one.
yeah, I think so too, and it kind of reminds me of that Daredevil scene, when Daredevil is going into that house and it's just one take when
Mm-hmm.
and he's just going through and just you know ripping everybody a new one, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And Sisu does that in the
No, that's a
train.
good point. I don't know if it was one take, but it almost seems like it because it's kind of like tracking him as he goes through
Yeah.
these rooms, and even in between the rooms or the carts of the train, like going
Hmm.
between each of them. But it's a really creative scene because it's basically about him having to get to the front of the train and go through all of
Right.
these areas where there's soldiers sleeping and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they do some like it's actually kind of a little bit funny too, I would say, like those parts, or
Yeah.
that part too, which I think kind of reminded me a little bit more of the first one too, because I think
Yeah.
like the first one had this good mix of like really good action that was also kind of even funny at points, maybe like dark kind of comedy maybe, but was like did that sort of stuff where it was really funny at points too. And maybe that's just my
Yeah. No.
maybe that's my fucked up sense of humor or something, but
No. 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 I agree. I mean, there was some
not
scenes
that it's a
there where,
comedy, but there's little comedic moments.
well, I think you need those too when you have kind of these dark killing movies, and
Yeah.
it's trying
Because
to be
this is
inventive.
very brutal for anyone wondering. I mean, it's R, so, and if you've seen the first one, I'm sure you're expecting that. But um, would you say this one was even more brutal than the first one? Like, we're just about
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same, or
No, I think it was a little more. No, about the same actually. Now that I kind of think about it,
yeah, I think it's kind of
but
about the same, maybe
I think that
slight more.
there was just more fight scenes. I think in the second one
Hmm.
a bit, but I think it was about the same, really there wasn't um, a lot of gore. I mean, there is that one scene where he's being whipped,
Yep,
and
that's pretty brutal.
that's pretty brutal. It's almost hard to watch really at times,
Yeah. Well,
but
because it's like a hot whip too, isn't it?
oh yeah, yeah. Was
Uh,
it electrified? Was it electrified?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know if
But
they
anyways,
electrified it or if they just made it super hot or something, but it seemed like it was like orange at the tip or something, and that's what was like leaving an even bigger lash. But that was yeah,
yeah, that
it's
was
a
kind of
scene that goes on for a few minutes because it's kind of like a torture scene. Um,
yeah,
so
yeah.
also be prepared for that if those sort of things make you uncomfortable. But it's really only
But
torture to his back with a whip. But
yeah,
yeah, that
it just it makes you cringe a little bit, But
yeah,
I
because they're
guess the
huge
only
gashes. They're not small. They're like these gigantic gashes where the basically his entire back is like ripped open.
yeah, but it's kind of you can kind of just feel the issue if that was happening to you. It's kind of like when you have a paper cut, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a big thing, but when it happens, you kind of like are like, oh my God, ew, that's so painful when that happens. It's
Yo,
like in Jackass when they used to try to do that kind of stuff. And
oh, between their tongue and stuff.
yeah, yeah, you just kind of are like cringing, you know what I
Ugh.
mean? But I think that that's the power of the scene is that you can kind of almost put yourself in that scenario and think about
Yeah.
how bad it kind of hurt. But that's good. That's good writing and good
Yo.
act. You know what I mean? That's not anything against it. I mean, it's not gore for the sake of gore, like a like a slasher movie or
Mm.
something.
Well, and it's
So
also kind of like, I guess we did say it was brutal and stuff like that too. But that's the other thing I will say is I'm not a big fan of slasher movies and stuff and
I
gore.
can't stand it. I
But
can't stand them.
I
That's
think
just me.
it's to me like there is a level with it where like this is very gory, like we said, and brutal. But I think some of the horror, some of the slasher stuff can like linger on it for a really long time, or really
Mm,
push things that are make you feel very uncomfortable. But I get it because that's the genre. But this is
mm.
like very quick with a lot of the gore and
Oh yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, the longest scene is that train one, but
Yeah.
that's an incredible scene. So if you like action movies and choreographed fighting, it's quite a piece of art, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it that. I just can't remember how to do all that stuff. There's a lot of intricacies in that scene.
Yo,
But
especially with him
they
having to
did
be
it
quiet too. So you're having
correct.
to hit all those beats like when they were filming. Yeah, it's the other thing that impressed me with this movie that I also, even though I didn't like it as much as the first one, try to keep in mind is that the this still had a very small budget. Like this only had like, from what I understood or what I read, like a $12 million budget or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
it didn't have a cheap feel to it. I mean, and it was really well done. And I mean,
yeah,
I recommend it. I recommend it.
no, I do too.
You know,
You
I don't
know,
know what I would give. I don't know what I give it for stars, but um, it's not the best movie I've ever seen.
yeah,
It's not mediocre. It's in between there somewhere. I mean, I'll go see it again.
no,
I
I
mean,
would
it's
too.
you
But
know,
I'm also just a fan of the series, and like I think I would
yeah.
want to see it with some other people that I know liked the first one, and I think would probably like this too. Um,
Well,
but
I think yeah, yeah. I think part of the thing is too is like with John Wick and with the Sisu, is that when you go part of the I don't know if entertaining is the word that I want to use, but is the reactions to the people in the audience.
yo,
Like with John Wick, like I don't know if you remember Leon when we saw the one, was it three, the one where he
the
takes the book
pencil.
and
Oh no,
he
the book.
stuffs
Yeah, 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 the
the
book
book,
with the
and it's
giant
kind of like,
dude.
yeah, yeah, and it's just kind of like, oh, that's creative, But I don't know if you remember the people behind us are like going, oh shit, and
Yeah,
you know. So
like
with
curbed the
Sisu,
dude with the book.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
they were creative. I mean, it had a. I think if you like the first one, they did a good job of giving you a familiar feel of the first one,
Hmm.
but some differences in it. They broke it down into chapters, just like the first one.
Yo.
Sisu didn't talk.
Yeah, that was another thing with it. That I thank you for actually bringing that up. That
Mm,
I wouldn't say it took points off for me, but I thought was also maybe something they could have done with this one, where he talks like only like a word, but like he talks at the very end of the first one, and I
mm,
kind of thought this one maybe they should have kept it where he doesn't talk much, but I thought he
yeah.
should have talked a little bit more. And I just
Well,
it's mainly just because I thought there were some opportunities where like he should have at least said something. Like when he was being tortured and that dude was like telling him about his son and everything, I figured he would have been like
well,
"fuck
yeah,
you" or something like that. But like,
yeah. I think that I agree with you. That's the exact same thing I was going to
mm,
say. So you read my mind there, but I think that part of the reason maybe that they did it was you're thinking he's going to say something, of
mm,
like I'm going to kill you, you know what I mean,
that's
or
just not the
something,
way he rolls. I guess it's just
but
like,
but it, but you're waiting for it. It doesn't happen, so
mm,
there was an element of suspense that was put in there besides just the violence too. You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? So I think that's kind of what they were trying to do.
Well, maybe he's just not the, maybe that kind of just shows what we're used to in movies too, because maybe he's just not the dumbass that goes like, "I'm gonna kill you when I get out of this." Like, it's like,
Yeah,
why tell them your plan? Like just
yeah, yeah.
do what you're gonna do. So, but yeah, like I said, I don't think that would take points off for me. I just think since
Oh,
they ended the first one with him talking, and and since they were doing a sequel, I figured we might get
mhm,
him talking a little bit more in this one, even
mhm,
though you don't want him talking throughout the whole thing because that would be weird and
mhm.
that would change. He wasn't doing that in the
Yeah,
first one, but I just
right.
think there were some opportunities they could have done some stuff like that because
Well, the
even
ending, even in the ending, they could have when all the people
yeah, and they're just
come
like,
up to
oh,
the,
don't worry about it.
you know,
You don't have to say anything, or like they like cut him off like right as he was about to say
yeah,
something, maybe.
yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay,
Okay, he's not gonna say anything throughout this one. Okay.
but you do see some emotion from them in the end when you think
I
he's
did
gonna
like
cry.
that end though.
No, I did too. I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was a really good ending.
Yeah. It was kind of a
And
basic ending too, but it was just kind of nice. But we'll get into that more when we get into spoiler territory. But
mhm.
which I don't know if you want to go into. Is there anything else we
Sure.
want to address that isn't spoilers?
No, No, I mean I think we've done some pretty good spoiling as it as it is.
Yeah.
We just talked about the ending,
Yup.
um, and so but then again, when you listen to these kind of things in the audience, it gives you things to look for,
Mm.
and there's nothing wrong with that, unless it's uh, uh, something, like a series a series finale and something,
Yeah.
like I think I told you before, um, that a former in-law, uh, uh, I didn't see the last James Bond movie that came out the first day it came out, and he saw me and he said, "Hey, did you see the new James Bond movie?" And I said, "No, not yet." And he goes, "Oh man, it sucks when he dies." And it's like, thanks for fucking ruining that for me, because I stayed away from spoilers throughout the
Yeah.
whole. The whole, you didn't go on the internet for it, didn't want to know anything,
Mm.
and then he spoils it for me. So,
Well, the
sometimes
thing we
it's
always
good to
say
know
with
that it's
this
spoiled.
too is the thing we always say with this too is like, because some things nowadays, even things we've talked about already, some people would be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that was, you already talked about a spoiler or something like that. But the way I
Mm-hmm.
view it is if like it's something that was revealed in the plot, like summary, or if it was in the trailer or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about that. I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil some death or something that isn't in the
Mm-hmm.
trailer or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But yeah, so I guess we are gonna get into spoiled it territory. So you've been
Okay,
warned. We're gonna go in the spoilers, folks.
let's go
So
at it.
last chance to leave. All right, you still here? All right. That must
Oh,
mean you're
hey
okay with
man,
the spoilers then.
it's okay. It's all good. Let's
So
go.
not really much to spoil here. Besides kind of some of the things we were talking about, I guess, in terms of things that were a little more ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
in particular, one of the things I thought was extremely ridiculous, but it was kind of the last ridiculous thing they did, was at the very end he like uses a nuke.
Oh, is
They
this the rocket?
yeah they detect were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um what's his face, Stephen
Well, he
Lang's
uses a
character.
missile.
Yeah, Stephen
It's
Lang's
a.
character detaches the train car from the front one, and so that they're separated now, and he's on the separate track. And so what does he do? He pulls the blanket off of the whatever, the curtain on the fucking missile
Mm,
and or the
yep,
nuke, and basically he lights
yep.
it, and it basically acts like a rocket, and it propels the train car forward.
Hmm.
And I don't know, I just thought that
Yeah,
was a
that
bit
that that.
ridiculous. And then also, not only that, but it made zero sense, because wasn't that the train car with the rocket the front train car? So wouldn't that, even though it wouldn't work like this no matter what, wouldn't that have had to be the train
Mhm.
car in the all the way in the back for it to have moved the train forward?
Well, I think that
Do you know what I'm
I think
saying?
he. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I think that it did get separated, and
Oh, it
then
was just the rocket cart was just standalone after.
yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's
standalone.
right. Yeah.
Because if I remember right, I think that he ends up
So he
disconnecting
separated that
the
even
carts.
from the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so they, they
yeah,
they at least made that make sense, but still that was just fucking ridiculous.
yeah, yeah.
And I wouldn't say took points off for me. And like I said, I'm sure some people are gonna see that and be like, and I don't know, maybe it was supposed to be kind of comedic or something, like because like we said, like they have small comedy touches in these films, but to me that
Mm-hmm.
was just a little too much, and I didn't think they were trying to go for comedic with it. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe some people are gonna think that's so ridiculous that it's kind of awesome, actually. But
Well, yeah. I mean, when you think of some cult classics, right? Some of the cheesiest friggin'
mm,
movies become a cult classic. You know what I mean? And so sometimes cheesy is a little good. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
depends on your level of cheese that you're getting.
true.
And I don't think it
What
was too
kind of
far.
cheese?
Is it cheddar or mozzarella? you know, but
Oh,
no,
pepper
it's
jack.
a little pepper jack, give a little spice to it. And but no, it's an all right scene. I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but
Mm,
um, yeah, but at least it didn't go on for too long. You know what I
no,
mean?
no.
So
All the ridiculous moments are actually pretty quick, which I think helped
yeah.
not be like, what the fuck are they doing with this and everything. And like
Well,
I said,
like you.
I think some people are actually gonna really like that stuff too. I just
Oh no, no, it's not bad. I mean, like I said, but it's just kind of take it for what it is. Really suspend yourself
mm,
when for some of these things, and just say,
because the odds are
um,
like a billion to one with some of the shit that like they pull off in
yeah.
this.
But it's like I said, it's like the analogy I gave with Fast and Furious.
No,
I mean, some of
exactly.
that stuff is just so ridiculous, so out of it, and has nothing to do with cars really anymore.
Mm,
That that sometimes getting away from the plot, I guess, is just what you have to do
mm,
to not make it so formulaic. You know what I mean?
yup.
So,
But yeah, so
but
he uses that rocket and he catches up to Stephen Lang's
mhm,
character, and
yep,
he kills him. Obviously, he's Sisu, so he ultimately ends up killing him using the nuke, actually.
hmm,
But
yep,
because Stephen Lang's actually kind of kicking his ass for a bit, but then he
oh
kind
yeah,
of gets a moment and is able to basically
mhm,
free himself for a moment and free the nuke from its restraints, so that it basically like pins him down inside the train car he's in after he like jumps out of it.
right,
Um,
yep,
but
yep,
but yeah, so it was kind of you know, so I think everyone expected that too, for Stephen Lang's character to probably get killed in this, because I certainly
hmm,
did. But
right,
also one of those things, like I said, even though it's extremely predictable and you kind of figure it's going to happen, it doesn't take points off for me. It's, you come into a
no,
John Wick or a Sisu knowing that's basically going to happen. So,
right,
um, didn't take points off for me. I thought he was actually a pretty good villain,
yeah. I
um,
thought he was good. I thought he
Stephen
was good.
Lang.
Yeah,
Because I thought the guy in the first one was actually pretty good too.
yeah. I think
Um,
they did. I think they did a good job with the villains.
yeah,
It's you know,
because they're not like too
um,
complex, but like they're
well, like
not
I
like
said, it's
so hammy they're one note or something like that either.
well, yeah. It's like I said that they kept the plot simple, and sometimes simple's good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, easy to follow. You can't get lost. Too bad,
Yo.
and you don't get lost at all with this. But it's good. I mean, it's all right. It's like I don't know if you at one part in it, and I can't remember which scene it was
Uh-huh.
in, but you think the dog's gonna die.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They have a
well,
couple
actually,
ones like that, but I
you
feel
have
like
a couple of times.
they tried to do
Yeah,
that with the first one too, where they just try to like scare everyone like into
yeah.
thinking the dog's gonna die or something. Because I remember
Well, I was hoping.
the marketing for the first one, like they were doing all this stuff like that, and then like they had a thing like right before it came out, or like right as it
Mhm,
came out, or after it came out, where it was like
mhm.
a little ad or trailer, and it was like the dog doesn't die or something like that, where they like spoil that in the
Yeah,
trailer. But
yeah.
um,
Well, there's a couple of scenes, like I said, where you think, and as you said, where you do feel they're going down that route, and I was kind of praying as I was watching it, going, nah, don't go John Wick here. You know
that's
what I
just gonna
mean?
be Sisu 3. His
Yeah,
dog's gonna die, and then it's gonna just actually
yeah.
become John Wick.
What else do you have, right?
Yeah.
They moved the house, they just destroyed his village.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the
That
town
pretty
he
much
lived
is the
in,
only
and
thing they could do now if they did a third one.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's already discussed the family thing, and
Mm-hmm.
unless he gets uh, remarried or has a girlfriend or something in the third one, and she dies. You know what I mean? And but then
Yeah,
again,
he
they're kind
definitely seems like the dating type.
yeah, those silent type. You know what I mean? People just fall for those silent types. They're mysterious.
He just got that new house built. He's probably on Tinder right now.
Yeah, swipe to the right.
Swipe right for Aatami.
Yeah.
But what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, and then the other thing, I think the only really other thing, was the ending with he does, dismantle the house in its original location and get it back to Finland, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But he goes
And
to a whole different section of Finland,
yo,
and remember he's crossing the border.
mm, where the USSR had um
Hmm.
the border set up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So it is.
so
So it is Finland. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So he gets the he gets the house back to where he wants it in like a safe area and he rebuilds it. Um and while he's rebuilding it, you know, they do this whole thing where he sees people walking towards him and you're like, "Oh, here we go again." And
Right.
it's
Right.
actually like some local people and they're basically, he does his usual Sisu thing where he's like got a weapon ready, like about to like just fucking kill them all if they're like
Yeah.
there to fuck with him. And then they're just like, we thought you might need some help.
Right. Right.
And like, I just think he has this moment where like he's just been through so much shit in like Sisu
Oh
1
yeah.
and Sisu 2 where he just like kind of starts tearing up and you like feel bad for him where you're just like, man, this dude hasn't fucking caught a break. Like,
Yeah. I thought he was going to talk and say like thanks. You know,
yeah. And then I think
something
he's
simple.
about
You know.
to, and then as they are, they're like, you don't have to say anything. Like, we got you. Like, that's basically
Yeah.
what they say, and they just start helping him anyway, and it kind of makes him
Yeah.
start tearing up even more. But I thought it was actually like a really nice ending to
No, I thought it
these.
was good. I thought it was good. You know what I mean?
I
Was
think it would be a
all
good
the way.
ending just for, like I said, I think it helped more because of like what I said, where I was like,
Mhm.
it's like he starts crying because not only everything he's been through Sisu 1, but also Sisu 2. So I just felt like this is a good ending for like both of these. Like, don't
Yeah.
make another one after this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't see what they would do for a third one. You
Yeah.
know, but then again, I mean, you know, like I said, it's a lot. Some of the same people with John Wick that are work on this film, so they've gotten four out of John Wick, a spin-off of a TV series, spin-off of another movie, a prequels.
Well, ultimately,
Um,
it's going to
Lord
depend how
knows.
well this does, because that's always
Hmm.
the most important thing with the box office and everything. But like I said, this has such a low budget.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 12 million, as long as it makes 24 million, then it's a success.
Well, they could always do a prequel with it, right? For a third. I mean, they did it with John Wick, right?
Mm,
So you know, or that's the direction they're going with it. You know,
true.
so you could always do something like that, I guess. You know,
Mm,
and then maybe it would play into getting to know how he got to where he
is
is
in the
and
first one.
what. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I
so
think that's
no,
the only
no,
sort of direction I would like for them to go if they did another one, because I just don't want them to make like five Sisus where they just keep continuing the story from where they last
no,
left
no. I
off.
mean, but it's a good story. I think if you saw the first one, you're gonna like the second one.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't see if you didn't see the first one and saw it, you wouldn't be lost. But if you don't see the first one and you just saw the second one, you definitely would probably want to watch the first one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that I don't know. Maybe I should try that sequence. I haven't rewatched the first one yet since we've seen this.
Mm-hmm. So since it's
So
still a little couple
yeah,
years since you've seen it, maybe get a fresh take on it.
yeah, yeah. It was, but you know,
Having seen
I
two
liked
and
it a
then
lot.
watch one.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah, why not?
it's. But you know, I mean, it's like I said, you know, as I said earlier, I would go see it again.
Yeah.
You know, and or at least watch it when it came out in digital or whatever, because I don't think it's going to last in the theater too
No.
long
I'm
with
sure
all the
it's gonna
kids
be on
movies coming
digital in
out. So
like a week or two already, I'm sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But no, it was. I would recommend it. I don't know what would you give it for a rating?
I don't know. We don't usually give ratings, but we do kind of
Oh,
talk
okay.
about the ratings.
Okay.
like that
Well,
other people are giving, and then we kind
all right.
of don't give
Let's.
we don't give a score, but we kind of talk about like if we're feeling like the same, if we're feeling lower than that or higher.
Okay. All right.
But basically
Yeah.
the
I
average for
can.
this right now is like a 7.3 out of 10. And I would
Okay.
say I'm
I can. I.
probably a
I
little
would.
bit lower than that, but
No. No.
not too
I think
much.
I might go maybe just a little bit lower, or but I wouldn't argue with
Yeah,
where it's currently being ranked
exactly.
at,
That's what
you
I would
know.
say. Like if someone was asking me to give a numbered score, I wouldn't fight that, but I think I would personally go slightly lower. It wouldn't
Yeah.
not to where it would go into the 6 range, but to me I think it would, yeah. I think it would be
Well,
more like a 7
no.
flat or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. You know what I mean. But I wouldn't disagree with um if somebody said 7.3.
Mhm.
I
I
can
wonder
see
if that's
why.
a higher score than the first one. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. You know what? I never looked that up. I should have. You know.
Let's see.
It's
It is. The first one has a 6.9.
really
Yeah. So
okay.
most
All
people are
right.
liking this one better, I guess.
Okay. Well, it's not a bad movie. You know.
Oh,
So.
and I'm glad people are liking it a lot, you know.
Mm.
That's the way I always view movies, just like, you know, if you got even more enjoyment out of it than I did, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Definite. You know.
just know, you know, we recommend it, and we definitely
Definite.
recommend that you watch it, and it definitely at least hits that range for us where we would rewatch it, but I think it just ever
Hmm.
so slightly passes that that
Well,
milestone for me.
I think people should watch it, and if they haven't seen one, watch it. And do they have a way of getting in touch with you at all?
Yeah, they can get in touch with us actually on YouTube at retro-tainment and grill TV studios, Facebook at retro-tainment and grill TV, Instagram at two pose in a pod / Borgesnl, which is my personal page, and grill TV official, X
Hmm.
at retro-tainment and grill TV, TikTok at retro-tainment and grill TV, and also Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Overcast, and Pocket Casts.
Well, they definitely can get a hold of you, right?
Yes, and any
So
other
I think,
podcast platform out there, pretty much. So,
well, I would love to hear if anybody does get in touch with you,
mm-hmm.
if they what they thought of what they would rate a little higher, the first one or the second one, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, we always do polls for the reviews too. So I'll put a poll out
Oh,
there of which one people think is
yeah.
better.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what people have to say.
You know, oh, and
Definite.
it's got a trailer playing on this website I'm on with the review, and it actually
Mm.
shows that scene with the plane, and it's
Oh,
actually
good.
like 4 boards fall that
Oh,
helped the plane.
four. I
Yeah,
thought it
it
was
wasn't
two.
2 like I thought. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was two as
It was like
well.
4 or 5. So,
Well, now it's not ridiculous at four of them.
yeah. Sorry
You know,
guys.
like two would have been
2 would
ridiculous,
have
but
been
four.
completely ridiculous, but you know
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense actually.
Now I see why it's rated higher.
But thank you Don for joining me on this one.
Well, thanks, Leon. It was really fun, and we'll have to see some other movies together too. It was a fun experience all the way around.
Yep. Then we got Jay Kelly we're reviewing next, so look out for that one, folks.
Definite.
All right.
Keep your eye out.
Peace, pose. See you on the next one.
Peace.